What if I told you that some of the most terrifying ghost and demon movies ever made weren't just fiction? They were based on real supernatural events that actually happened to real people. These aren't just inspired by true events marketing gimmicks. These are documented cases of genuine paranormal activity that filmmakers turned into horror movies. The most disturbing part isn't that these supernatural events happened, it's that the real-life incidents were often far more terrifying than what made it to the screen. Movie studios had to tone down the actual paranormal activity because audiences wouldn't believe how extreme the real hauntings and possessions actually were. But here's what'll keep you watching. I'm saving the most shocking real-life supernatural case for last. This demonic possession was so violent and well-documented that it became the subject of multiple movies, court cases, and religious investigations. The real events were so disturbing that some of the evidence is still sealed by the Catholic Church today. Before we explore these real supernatural nightmares that became horror movies, if you're ready to discover the true stories behind your favorite paranormal films, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel. It really helps us continue investigating the real events behind fictional horror. Movie 1. The Exorcist, 1973, the Roland Doe possession. The Exorcist is based on the real-life 1949 exorcism of a 14-year-old boy, known as Roland Doe, a pseudonym, in Maryland and Missouri. The actual case involved documented supernatural phenomena that were witnessed by multiple priests, doctors, and family members over several months. The Catholic Church extensively documented the real events. Father Raymond Bishop kept detailed records of the exorcism, noting supernatural occurrences, including objects moving without physical contact, the boy speaking in Latin despite never having learned the language, and words appearing carved into his skin without any visible cause. What makes this case particularly credible is the multiple witnesses and medical documentation. Doctors at Georgetown University Hospital examined the boy and found no medical explanation for his condition. The supernatural phenomena occurred in front of numerous observers, including skeptical medical professionals who couldn't explain what they witnessed. The movie actually toned down many real events. The real Roland Doe broke a priest's nose during the exorcism, spoke in multiple ancient languages simultaneously, and demonstrated knowledge about people he had never met. The film's famous head-spinning scene was added for dramatic effect, but the real possession included equally disturbing physical manifestations. Movie 2. The Conjuring, 2013, the Perron family, haunting. The Conjuring is based on the real experiences of the Perron family, who lived in a haunted farmhouse in Rhode Island from 1971 to 1980. The family reported supernatural activity that escalated over 9 years, eventually requiring intervention from paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. The real events were documented through the Warrens' case files and the Perron family's own records. Carolyn Perron kept detailed journals of supernatural occurrences, including apparitions, physical attacks, and objects moving without explanation. The family reported being touched, pushed, and even lifted by invisible forces. What makes this case credible is the consistency of reports over nearly a decade. Multiple family members experienced the same supernatural phenomena independently, and neighbors reported strange occurrences around the property. The Warrens documented their investigation with photographs, audio recordings, and witness testimonials. The movie simplified many real events for dramatic purposes. The actual haunting involved multiple spirits, not just Bathsheba Sherman, and the supernatural activity continued for years, rather than being resolved in a single dramatic exorcism. The real Carolyn Perron was never fully possessed, though she did experience supernatural attacks. Movie 3. The Amityville Horror, 1979, the Lutz family case. The Amityville Horror is based on the real experiences of the Lutz family, who moved into a house in Amityville, New York, where a mass murder had occurred the previous year. The family reported 28 days of supernatural terror before fleeing the house permanently. The real events were documented through police reports, interviews, and the Lutz family's own testimonies. George and Kathy Lutz reported cold spots, strange odors, mysterious sounds, and apparitions throughout the house. They also claimed to experience personality changes and violent thoughts while living there. What makes this case controversial but compelling is the physical evidence. Investigators found unexplained temperature variations, mysterious stains, and structural damage that couldn't be explained through normal means. The family passed polygraph tests about their experiences, though skeptics have questioned some details. The movie dramatized many real events but maintained the core supernatural claims. The real Lutz family reported seeing apparitions, experiencing supernatural attacks, and discovering evidence of occult activity in the house. However, some of the more extreme supernatural phenomena shown in the film were added for dramatic effect. Movie 4. The Entity, 1982. The Doris Bither Case. The Entity is based on the real case of Doris Bither, a California woman who claimed to be repeatedly sexually assaulted by invisible supernatural entities in the 1970s. The case was investigated by paranormal researchers from UCLA who documented unexplained phenomena. Dr. Barry Taff and Carrie Gaynor studied the real events from UCLA's parapsychology department. The researchers documented unexplained lights, temperature changes, and physical effects that occurred in Bither's presence. They took photographs showing mysterious light phenomena that couldn't be explained through conventional means. What makes this case particularly disturbing is the consistency and specificity of the supernatural attacks. Bither reported the same type of supernatural assault repeatedly over months, with physical evidence including unexplained injuries and property damage. Multiple witnesses reported seeing supernatural phenomena in her presence. The movie toned down many aspects of the real case for theatrical release. The actual supernatural attacks were more frequent and violent than depicted in the film, and Bither reported additional supernatural phenomena, including apparitions and poltergeist activity, that weren't included in the movie adaptation. Movie 5, A Haunting in Connecticut, 2009, The Snedeker Family Case. A Haunting in Connecticut is based on the real experiences of the Snedeker family, who rented a house in Southington, Connecticut, that had previously been a funeral home. The family reported supernatural activity that escalated to dangerous levels, requiring multiple exorcisms. The real events were investigated by Ed and Lorraine Warren and documented through their case files. The Snedeker family reported apparitions of former funeral home clients, supernatural attacks, and the discovery of mortuary equipment hidden throughout the house. They also found evidence of seances and necromantic rituals conducted by previous occupants. What makes this case credible is the historical documentation of the house's use as a funeral home and the consistency of supernatural reports from multiple family members. Neighbors confirmed strange occurrences around the property, and local records verified the building's mortuary history. The movie simplified the real events, which involved multiple supernatural entities and extended over several months. The actual case included more extensive supernatural phenomena, including possession-like symptoms in the teenage son, and physical manifestations that investigators and clergy members witnessed. Movie 6, The Haunting in Connecticut. 2, Ghosts of Georgia, 2013, The Wyrick Family Case. The Haunting in Connecticut. 2 is based on the real experiences of the Wyrick family in Georgia, who reported supernatural activity involving spirits connected to the Underground Railroad. The family's young daughter claimed to see and communicate with ghosts on their property. The real events were documented through family testimonies and historical research into the property's connection to the Underground Railroad. The Wyrick family reported apparitions, supernatural communications, and physical phenomena that seem connected to the historical significance of their land. What makes this case interesting is the historical context and the consistency of the supernatural reports. The family's experiences aligned with documented historical events in the area, and multiple family members reported similar supernatural encounters independently of one another. The movie dramatized the real events, but maintained the core supernatural claims about spirits connected to the Underground Railroad. The actual case involved less dramatic supernatural phenomena than shown in the film, but the family's reports of ghostly encounters and historical connections were based on their real experiences. Movie 7, The Possession, 2012, The Dybbuk Box Case. The Possession is based on the real story of a wine cabinet known as the Dybbuk Box, which was believed to contain a malevolent spirit from Jewish folklore. The box was sold on eBay with warnings about supernatural activity, and subsequent owners reported paranormal phenomena. The real events were documented through the experiences of multiple owners of the box, including Jason Haxton, who wrote a book about his supernatural encounters. Owners reported nightmares, health problems, and supernatural phenomena that seemed connected to possessing the box. What makes this case unique is the physical object at the center of the supernatural activity, as well as the consistency of reports from different owners who had no prior contact with each other. The supernatural phenomena followed the box to different locations and affected different people in similar ways. The movie dramatized the real events by focusing on a single family's experience with the box, while the actual case involved multiple owners over several years. The real supernatural phenomena were less dramatic than shown in the film, but were consistently reported by different people who possessed the box. Movie 8, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, 2005. The Anneliese Michel case. The Exorcism of Emily Rose is based on the real case of Anneliese Michel, a German woman who underwent multiple exorcisms in the 1970s before dying during the religious rituals. The case resulted in criminal charges against her parents and the priests involved. The real events were extensively documented through court records, medical reports, and audio recordings of the exorcisms. Anneliese Michel exhibited supernatural phenomena, including speaking in ancient languages, demonstrating knowledge she couldn't have possessed, and showing superhuman strength during religious rituals. What makes this case particularly well documented is the legal proceedings that followed Michel's death. The court case included testimony from medical experts, religious authorities, and witnesses who observed the supernatural phenomena. Audio recordings of the exorcisms were presented as evidence. The movie simplified the real events, which involved 67 exorcism sessions over 10 months. The actual case included more extensive supernatural phenomena and involved multiple priests and medical professionals. The actual condition of Anneliese Michel and the supernatural manifestations were more severe than depicted in the film. And there you have it. 8 horror movies based on real supernatural events that actually happened to real people. From the Exorcist documented possession case to The Exorcism of Emily Rose's tragic legal proceedings, these films prove that sometimes reality is more terrifying than fiction. What makes these real-life supernatural cases so compelling is the thorough documentation and the involvement of multiple witnesses. These weren't isolated incidents or single-person testimonies. They were extensively investigated events with medical records, legal proceedings, and religious documentation supporting the supernatural claims. The most disturbing aspect of these real cases is how the movies often had to tone down the actual supernatural phenomena because audiences wouldn't believe how extreme the real events were. The true stories behind these films contained supernatural activity that was more frequent, more violent, and more well documented than what made it to the screen. These real supernatural cases serve as reminders that the paranormal world may be more active and dangerous than most people realize. The fact that these events were documented by medical professionals, religious authorities, and legal systems suggests that supernatural phenomena may be more common than we would like to believe. Which of these real supernatural cases disturbed you the most? Do these documented paranormal events make you more or less likely to believe in ghosts and demons? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more investigations into the real events behind horror movies. Remember, sometimes the most terrifying horror stories are the ones that actually happened.